All right, welcome to episode number 52 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. We've been doing this for over a year now. It's a casual hangout that we do on Google Hangouts as well as KOCO.com every single Wednesday at noon here in Oklahoma. It's fun, it's interactive, and every week we try to have a new topic. Sometimes we'll bring on a guest, sometimes we won't. But certainly we always have a lot of fun with this, and we always appreciate your feedback. And if you ever have any questions, of course, we'll try to answer them live here on this hangout. Of course, this has certainly been a very interesting winter, not only here in Oklahoma, but also really across the East Coast and Northeast. And we want to bring in a guest who I think may be very familiar to many Oklahomans here. She spent some time over at the Fox affiliate here in Oklahoma City, Danielle Vollmar, who is now at our Hearst station, our sister station, WCVB, up in Boston. Danielle, great to see you. Hey, how's the weather up there today?
Hey, good to see you all too. It's actually really nice and mild. We are in the 50s already at lunchtime. I can't believe it. It's awesome.
You know, we scoff at 50-degree temperatures this time of the year, but I guess it's a pretty big deal for what you all have been dealing with, huh?
Big time, because, we have been below average for so many days. We didn't see above 40 for a stretch of 43 days. It's been like the cold tundra up in Boston. It looks more like Antarctica, or what I envisioned what the Arctic would look like.
Well, down here in Oklahoma, certainly our weather can be can certainly change by quite a bit from day to day. One thing I do want to touch on, because we haven't had a podcast since this event happened, and Danielle, I'm pretty sure this has never happened to you. But last week here in Oklahoma, we had a snowstorm that came in here, and all the meteorologists, including myself and KOCO5, as well as National Weather Service, and a lot of the media outlets, we were talking about this winter storm that was going to come in, and it was going to create just a mess of a morning commute. The night before, just about every single school district actually canceled school in anticipation that the snow and the ice was going to come in and lead to some dangerous driving conditions early in the morning. Now, at about 10 o'clock at night, we started getting new information coming in, and it was indicating that, well, this might come in a little bit slower than we previously thought.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. All of a sudden, many of us wake up on Wednesday morning, we look outside our window, we don't see a single snowflake, and yet all these schools get canceled, and people said, you all close schools and what have you, and first off, obviously, we don't purposely try to mislead the forecast, but obviously things are always going to change. This is not the first time that we've had a forecast that didn't play out as we were expecting it to, and it won't be the last time that it happens either. Now, we were actually talking to some principals and some school districts who were saying they were more concerned about what was going to come in the afternoon and the afternoon commute. They weren't really as concerned so much for the morning commute.
Okay.
Yeah, so no matter how you look at it, the afternoon commute was a nightmare. I mean, it snowed, there were tons of accidents, and the snow came in just at the right time for when elementary schools would have been closing. So many schools have said, you know what, even though the snow came in a little bit later, you all made the right call. I think school being closed today was appropriate. Of course, there were a lot of businesses that were closed as well. And again, it's not the first time that we've blown a forecast, and it won't be the last time either. But sometimes, it's always important to make sure that you're not getting your last weather forecast at 5 o'clock in the afternoon for the next day. Make sure you watch the 6, make sure you watch the 10 or the 11 o'clock. So certainly, it was a difficult day for many of us and a long day for many meteorologists here. So, anyways, wanted to get that off my chest. Okay, I can breathe. Jonathan, how's it going? Anything good happening over in the Weather Center today?
Yeah, can you guys hear and see me? There we go. Sorry, we usually do the hangout from the studio with a weather computer, and that weather computer we can share a lot of things, but for some reason it's not working, so we've gone mobile via the cell phone. You gotta love it. It still works. You gotta love technology. How cool is it? 2015, we can stream video on cell phones. I had a bunch of stuff lined up talking about social media this week, and now I can't really share it from my phone. Obviously, a lot of talk on social media last week about the snow here in Oklahoma City. I had some cool pictures to share with everybody, but did you guys see the video of the eagle that was buried in the snow?
No.
Yeah, and I can't share it, obviously, because I'm going off my phone, but everyone who's watching right here, super easy. It's this eagle up in Pennsylvania, and it's on its nest, and its nest is huge. It's like 6 to 8 feet wide, and they had all that heavy snow. And the eagle literally, you just go to YouTube and Google, eagle snow, and you can literally watch this mama eagle sitting on her eggs, and there's a foot of snow on top of her, and it's just her little white head sticking out, and she's just sitting there the whole time. Finally, she pops up, knocks all the snow off, and sits back down. And if you can actually watch the Eagle Cam live, my favorite Eagle Cam to watch, it's a Pennsylvania bald eagles. So if you just go to Google, type in Eagle Cam, go to the first one, and I'm watching it right now. And I really wish I could share it. Maybe I can share it. Let me see.
I think it's getting out there. Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, I don't know if you can see it right here, but yeah. Oh, that.
Are you guys,
Damon's sharing it.
Wait, is this the one that you
want?
want?
My phone. There we go. Boom.
There it
How
is.
awesome is that? Look at the two eagles. There are the eggs. There's mama on the right, daddy on the left. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Pennsylvania bald eagles.
Wow.
Bald eagle live stream Hanover, and there you go. And it's super cool to watch. So you want to talk about weather and what's happening in social media? This is getting the rounds right now.
You know, we actually at KOCO, we're big fans of, or very friendly to animals. We actually have a goose cam, which I don't know if the link is hot yet, but it will be soon. You know, we always get these Canada geese that come in, and they're a little mean, but they lay eggs all over the station, and we actually have a cam that's going to be set up, and you can actually watch them. People flock to that. I never knew Canada goose or geese were so popular, but they are popular. They're mean to me, though. They charge at me in the parking lot. Just want to let people know. Yeah, Shelby's shaking. She's saying yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worry more about the skunks than I do the geese. The skunks have moved in. Saw a couple this morning.
They don't smell good. And I don't know how close they are when they spray, but their scent carries throughout the weather center. You always know when there's a skunk nearby. Now, Danielle, so after you left Oklahoma City, you're now in Boston. Do you all get to see the wildlife as much as, or are you all in the city?
No, well, you know, our station's in the suburbs, and we actually have wild turkey sightings in my parking lot. So that's always fun to run into one of those, and they really aren't nice, just so you know. They're not friendly turkeys. They are against us. I actually wanted to contribute to this because talking about social media, actually yesterday morning I got dealt a story to go down and cover on Cape Cod. It was a social media thing about icebergs appearing on Cape Cod. And I actually have a picture. I'm going to show you this. When I got down there, I don't know if you can, I'm trying to see if I can do this. Hold on. Actually, I think I can do it on my Twitter. Hold on. I'm going to figure out technology right in front of your very eyes.
Oh, this is late breaking.
This is late breaking. Danielle's actually doing something with technology. Okay, here we go. Oh, what did I do? Come here. Okay, so here I am. Here we go. Let's see if I can get this picture up for you. If you can see this or not. What?
There should be a green
There,
button.
do you see it or no? Oops, nope, that was kids. You don't want that one. Hold on. I mean, the kids are great. I love them. But that was from my school visit earlier today. But this is me. Okay, this is out on Cape Cod in Wellfleet. It's like the tip of the Cape if you ever look at a map. And pretty much there was these icebergs. And now when we got there, this was during high tide. So you can't tell the actual size of them because the water's up so high. But at one point, they were up to about 10 to 15 feet tall, like double the size of people. So this is a really cool occurrence because it's very rare. It happens only, twice, 3 times in the last 20 years, and it really only happens during the really, really harsh winters. So that was definitely something interesting. And then I went down and did a story on that, and that's actually on I think I tweeted about it, and it's on our website and everything else. So if you guys, you're welcome to check it out. But it's really neat. I mean, it brought a lot of people from all over New England down there for the day to scope and see it. There you go. That's it. It's hard to see, but that was me with the icebergs. Icebergs, like Titanic. Who knew? Who knew?
Iceberg, straight ahead. Wow. So now, how often does something like this happen up in the Northeast?
That iceberg thing, probably not much. That's a very rare thing. That happens. It's happened twice or 3 times in the last 20 years. It really happens during the harshest, snowiest, and of course coldest winters. Our February, just so you know, was the second coldest on record ever since, 80 years ago is where you have to go back for the top coldest month. We also had the snowiest month in Boston ever in February, getting like 65 inches of snow. You can imagine. I mean, it basically had, you think of a major snowstorm, you had at least a foot of snow almost every week for 4 weeks straight. And it was just, it's crazy. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, I've been up here now 2 years. I'm from the Northeast originally. And this is a winter, many are calling the most historic winter we've ever seen. We're only 2 inches away from breaking the record of all-time snowiest ever in Boston. So it's kind of crazy to be here.
Danielle, I actually want to share something since we're talking about snowiest, because I thought I had seen a lot of the headlines, and then I saw this right here. I don't know if you all picked up on this or not, but there was an Italian village earlier this week that picked up 100 inches of snow in 18 hours. Whoa. Not an entire summer, but they picked up that much snow in 18 hours. That's a record that actually beat the previous record that was set in Silver Lake, Colorado, which got 76 inches of snow in 1 day. But to think about that much snow, and actually I'm gonna scroll down here so you all can kind of see just how high the snow is. I mean, this whole village, I don't know what the I've been to Italy before, so I've seen their media, but they certainly don't cover snow events like we do here, and so I don't know if this village knew that this much snow was coming their way. But 100 inches of snow, could you? I'm never going to make a big deal about 2 and 4 inches of snow ever again. That is for sure. That is for sure. Shelby, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well. Talking about that picture, I actually saw a few meteorologists that are kind of questioning whether that measurement of the snow was legit. So
it's possible that it could have been off. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, maybe in a snowdrift, but I saw that some people are trying to look into it and see if that was a good measurement or not. Not that we'll really ever know if it was, but
I didn't see any wide open areas. I didn't see anyone measuring on a flat board out in the middle. National Weather Service would be very disappointed, I'm sure.
Yeah, they definitely would be. We're so excited to have you, Danielle. You've been through a crazy winter. I know we've already been talking about it, but even just this morning out with the icebergs, when I first saw those pictures, I know Jen Jersey started retweeting some, and I was like, oh, where is that? And then I was like, oh, that's fake. Those aren't real. I never dreamed that y'all had something that looked like that. Like you said, I thought it was something that would be in the Arctic, not in Boston.
I know. Well, I was kind of concerned. What if these are Photoshop and they're sending me 2 hours away for a story and I'm not going to do anything with it? But, we got there, we saw it, and unfortunately, we were during high tide. High tide was coming out like 3:30, so we got there like 1:32. So it wasn't as big, but it was still, it was like a postcard. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I thought I didn't see. In Oklahoma, when I worked there, I always said, I've never seen anything like the weather in Oklahoma. Now I come to Boston, I've never seen anything like the weather I've seen in Boston. It's crazy. It's extremes everywhere I go.
And that's a big extreme, Now, was this something that you guys kind of had a feeling like, hey, there's going to be some icebergs coming in, or was it just we woke up one day and we saw these pictures and oh my gosh, what's going on?
I'm telling you, it's the power of social media. I always say it's like one of the best tools. I think this is great what you guys do down here with the Google Hangouts, because honestly, our viewers are our ears and our eyes, and if they didn't tweet that picture, I don't think any of us would have known. I mean, honestly, we weren't predicting there was going to be an iceberg in Wellfleet on Cape Cod. It's cold. We've definitely had ice. Our part of the Boston Harbor has been frozen over for quite a while, and part of the Charles River, our big river in the middle of the city, frozen over too. But you don't think of like chunks of ice. And I was like, wow, this is neat. Very cool. It was worth the 2-hour trip, put it that way. It was definitely worth it.
Shelby, have you ever seen anything like that on Lake Hefner?
No. We're just lucky it has some water in it, much less any to freeze. Okay. I can't imagine. So what have the hours been like working for you, Danielle? I know you probably went through it when you were here in Oklahoma working the crazy springs, but I feel like you were working all day, every day.
It's definitely crazy. When I worked in Oklahoma City, when I worked at Fox, I usually was the meteorologist that would go out in the field during the highest elements and like be live from it, and that's where I really exceed. And I love, I just love to be out there. So normally my role at this station is I normally do a double team with someone, and then as soon as a storm's actually hitting, they send me to the worst possible location so I can get pummeled by wind, snow, rain, ice, you name it, I'm in it, by an ocean. The ocean waves are hitting me. It's awesome for 14 hours straight. But I've gotten a name up here. I mean, it kind of, they have a meteorologist up here that used to be the name of Shelby Scott. She was the girl back in the 80s that went out live and measured the snow. And everyone's calling me the second coming of Shelby Scott. So it's kind of fun, but it's definitely grueling. You're definitely working multiple. I mean, we worked, my poor our team has, my chief meteorologist is, been doing this for 40 years, and he slept over at the station, worked all night next day. I mean, for weeks on end. I mean, it's been nonstop since January 24th, nonstop. So it's been a crazy month.
I was wondering what it was going to take for us to stop talking about Buffalo's just historic lake effect snow, and all of a sudden it didn't take long. I thought Buffalo would have been mentioned still, but no one really talks so much about Buffalo anymore. Now it's Boston. Boston is the headlines. Danielle, do you miss Oklahoma still?
I really do. I miss a lot of things about it. First of all, everybody there was great. I love the people I worked with. I love the people in the town. Like, everybody in the city of Oklahoma City is probably the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I mean, any of them that's watching this now that, Facebook me, tweet me still, I so appreciate it. It's just such a charming city. I rave about it wherever I go. I wear my Oklahoma City Thunder shirt, and I always, I'm rooting for them at all times, of course, even though I'm in Boston, yes. I am a Thunder fan. It's a weather term, too. Come on now. But, yeah, I miss it. It's a great, everyone's lucky that lives there. Everyone's super nice, and it's such a great up-and-coming city. It's going to be such a big city, I think, in the future. I mean, it's already a big city, but,
It's got big league feel to it, and yeah. Now, do you ever go to Thunder games when they come to Boston?
All the time, wearing my Thunder blue, and people yell at me because I have good seats, and they get mad, but I don't care. I cheer them on.
They're like, hey, that girl on TV, and wait, no, she's wearing blue and orange, yeah. Now, you know what, Thunder, it's fun to be in a market where your professional sports team is named after a weather term. I mean, if you're a meteorologist, there's no other better place to be, right?
That's what I was saying. I was like, how can you not love this team? And I mean, in Oklahoma City when I was there, that was one of my favorite things to do was to, go cheer them on. I mean, everybody gets into it. I've gone to so many stadiums. The inside of that is just, the arena is amazing. I mean, if you ever get a chance, you've got to go to I'm sure you guys have gone, but it's great to go to a game.
We need to send Shelby to a game pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I went to one, and my boyfriend made friends with Kendrick Perkins' family. We actually had I can't remember who we were playing, but their fans were sitting next to us, and we were between their fans and Kendrick's family. And there was, constant feuding back and forth. I was honestly scared for a little bit, but then it was so much fun.
They're a good family. Kendrick Perkins, who came from Boston, his wife Vanity Perkins did a lot for nonprofits in Oklahoma. I know my wife a lot of times would actually receive gifts for their nonprofit organization from Vanity. So it was sad to see them leave. They were good for Oklahoma. They were a really good family. So Shelby, what else do you want to talk about?
Well, Danielle, I don't have the video. Do you have the video when you got blown down by the wind? That is my favorite one so far.
I think that ended up in a lot of reels and a lot of places. I'm trying to see if I would have that. I don't know where it would be. It'd probably be somewhere on Twitter or Facebook, but there's definitely some good ones. It was again from Cape Cod, and it was just about I want to say 3 weeks ago or something. It was the last big one we had, and the winds were at 75 miles an hour at times, so hurricane force. And I remember, because the first couple hours people are laughing at me. They're like, oh, Danielle, it's nice and calm there, because the storm hadn't gotten to me yet. It was up north coming south. And then once it came to me, my goodness, it was blowing me. I was at an ocean right there. The waves are hitting me, spraying me, freezing on me. And then on top of that, I'm sitting by a person's roof, and the roof shingles are flying at my head. I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't stand up in it. I mean, it was nuts. I experienced the Christmas Eve blizzard in Oklahoma in 2009, and I got to stand outside for that, and I thought that wind was amazing because it was wind gusts over 60. But this one, worse.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Hey, Jonathan, every time we talk about snow, I always wonder what Jonathan is thinking, because Jonathan's from Minnesota. Jonathan, what's a lot of snow to you? Are we still talking about a lot of snow, or are you just kind of scoffing at all this, like, oh, this stuff isn't that big?
Yeah. So basically, when I first came to Oklahoma City in 2005, and I worked at another station, they said, we're gonna have you go out and go live for snow coverage. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And the forecast was for an inch. I was like, are you kidding? An inch? What? I mean, in Minnesota, flurries is an inch. You can say, oh, we're going to get flurries, say, about an inch of snow. And in Minnesota, people are like, that's just every single day. It's really no big deal. No one gets mad if there's flurries and there's an inch. People don't get upset about that. It's life. You just drive through it. And that was my frame of reference. And then after I worked here in Oklahoma a little bit longer, I understood that, Oklahoma City only averages about 8 inches of snow a season. And so when we get it, drivers just aren't used to it. They don't have the same skill set that I had growing up. So it changed, and I had to find ways to make my live shots enjoyable and fun to watch. I would make snow people. I made snowfish. You name it. I made a chair once. I brought a shovel. I brought an anemometer. I would bang on signs to show the ice accumulation. I mean, I had to get really, really animated, so I didn't seem boring. And I very vividly remember the Christmas Eve blizzard of 2009. I really need to write memoirs about it. Autobiography.
Jonathan, the Crocs have been buried in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody, the video is still out there. If whoever's watching this podcast, which is going to live forever on YouTube, so when you're done watching this, go over to YouTube and type, is it Jonathan Condor Blizzard?
Yep, I watched it last weekend. I heard about it for the first time. Watched.
Let me put things into reference here. I don't want to steal the show. Is that I had been out there all morning long, and we had been doing coverage, and we had told people, you don't want to be out on the roads past noon. So it was about 4 o'clock, and the other anchor had taken over, and he said, JC, how is it out there? And I had it with pushing people up hills. I mean, people were abandoning their cars, and they were literally wearing flip-flops. Imagine a blizzard and mounds of 3 or 4 feet of snow, cars abandoned, and there's people walking in flip-flops, in shorts. And I had just really had it. I was sick of being out there, sick of pushing people. I mean, one thing that I've never really told the story, unless you watched the live coverage, is that there was a UPS driver, not a driver, but a seasonal delivery guy, and he was walking through the blizzard. I thought we were hallucinating. I'm like, who is this guy? He's holding a bucket of popcorn. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, I'm a seasonal delivery guy. My wife is on I-44. She ran out of gas. She's stranded. My driver dropped me off so I could find her. And he was hypothermic. He was flat out hypothermic, frostbite, wasn't dressed for it. I'm like, get in the car, man. And we gave him coffee and food, and then we swapped out vehicles. Another one of our station vehicles came along, and I'm like, go with this photographer who has 4-wheel drive, go find your wife. Go find your wife. And that's when the live shot came to me and said, Jonathan, how is it? I had just kind of twisted off. And it was funny because in our earpiece, the IFB, which you can see right here, the executive producer was in my ear like, dude, slow down, you need to calm down. Okay, now you're doing well. And he was controlling my tempo because I kind of came out of the gates just racing. It's a good video.
I love that. That was my first winter here, and I remember I had a Nissan Xterra, and I was driving home, and everyone was talking about how bad the roads were, and so I said, well, I'm not going to take the highway. I'm going to actually take Sooner Road all the way down to Moore. Had no problem at all. I'm like, well, this isn't that bad. I mean, yeah, there's some snow out there, but it's not that bad. I get stuck in all of the places, my driveway. I got stuck in my driveway, and I couldn't get my car out. I was 6 hours late to work the next day because I had to shovel my car out. There's my story. So, all right, Shelby, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
I don't think so.
Danielle, what do you want to plug? This is the time for you to plug yourself.
I really don't have anything really to plug except for, if you want to follow Boston weather, follow me on Twitter. Danielle Vollmar. And then Facebook as well, Instagram the same. Otherwise, I just want to say hello to all the Oklahomans, and, I miss you guys very much.
Danielle, since now we work for sister stations, a lot of times we'll see the feeds coming in at KOCO. So, you might not be in Oklahoma anymore, but you may actually pop back up on KOCO airwaves and Oklahoma City airwaves as we take your all's feed. So we miss you, but good seeing you. And if you're ever down this way, never hesitate to swing by.
Okay, sounds good. Good to talk to you all.
Good to see you.